Hello, thank you for joining me today. We're going to be talking about the full moon in Leo that takes place on January 25th, 2024. I'm going to give you some tips on how to make the best use out of this energy so that you can tap into your full potential. So a full moon is always an opposition between the sun and the moon. And what is an opposition? An opposition is when you have planets in different parts of the chart and they're in signs that have different natures. Okay, so when we talk about the opposition Leo Aquarius, we're talking about the identity axis. Okay, Leo is a fire sign, it is extrovert, it is all about doing, it represents identity, it represents leadership. Leo represents things that we birth, and that can be from our kids to projects, but things that have our mark, okay? Fire signs are really about leaving our mark into the world. Whereas Aquarius is more about the collective. It is about the big pictures instead of the details. Aquarius is about a vision for the future, about bringing the awareness from ourselves to everyone, making it accessible, okay? So when we have an opposition or a full moon, which is an opposition, the stars are asking us to dance in between these two energies, in between how we present ourselves, how we put our individuality into the world, and how can it serve the collective? How can we bring our uniqueness in a way that it can be used to bring people together, okay? Aquarius represents friends and our groups. So how does our individual self, how does our mark in the world affect our surroundings, our friends, and how can we use it to bring people together so that it is used to serve? This is the first aspect we dance with. It's an opposition between the sun and the moon as it happens in every full moon, because this is the definition of a full moon. There is one interesting thing about this full moon, is that Pluto just came into Aquarius right along with the sun. And Pluto is really about stripping us of everything that is not true. And when Pluto goes into a sign, I made a video just a couple of days ago and you can access it in my channel, but let's briefly talk about it. When Pluto goes into a sign, it disrupts everything that the sign represents so that there is only truth left. And because it is conjunct to the sun, our moon also plays an opposition to this Pluto. Okay, when we have an opposition between the Pluto and the moon is asking us to show ourselves. Okay, it's a moon in Leo, so we might feel an up in our self-esteem. We might feel like, hey, it's time to shine. And at the same time, Pluto is asking us to do some inner work. Okay, Pluto is asking us, how can I lapidate myself so that I am something good for the collective? How can I strip away what is not really me, what doesn't serve me anymore, so that my uniqueness, so that I am a gift to the world? Note, you're always a gift, no matter what. But Pluto asks you to do this deep work, okay? Pluto asks you to do this deep work so that you can present yourself, so that you can give gifts, so that you can leave your mark in a way that it serves and benefits everyone around us. Now, there is one more aspect to this full moon that is very interesting, is that this full moon squares Jupiter in Taurus. Okay. Now, Jupiter represents how we teach things, how we tell our stories, how we pass on things that we learn, how we expand, again, about expanding, not just staying into our own little bubbles, okay? A fire moon can sometimes be a little individualistic. And in this full moon, specifically, we are being asked to give, we are being asked to show, we are being asked to share, okay? And this aspect, this square between the moon, the full moon, and Jupiter in Taurus is all about finding this one thing or things that you give to the world that only you can give. Okay? Taurus represents our values, represents how we deal with the material world. And so it is a lot about manifesting. When we have an opposition, when we have a square between the full moon and Jupiter, we have an opportunity to access this thing that we are able to give the world. There is something that you can give the world that only you are able to give. And all of your life experiences, all of your emotions that you've been through, all that you have surpassed in this life leads you to this very moment where you are able to provide something for the collective that only you can give. So this full moon is a valuable opportunity to look into your talents, look into your values, and look into how can it benefit the collective. Because being a full moon that is tensed up by squares and oppositions, if we don't do this work voluntarily, then life will throw at us some situations that will oblige us to do this work in a certain way. Okay, it can be a loss of a job, and then you need to find your career, your vocation, your profession. Profession comes from what do I profess? And it doesn't need to be only in the career section. It can be about your parenting, your relationship. How do you want to show up for these things? Remember, Leo gives you an extra notch of self-confidence, so take advantage of that. Take advantage to shine. This is a moment to shine. Just remember to strip yourself from everything that is not true. Just strip yourself from everything that doesn't serve you anymore, okay? No putting on masks with this full moon. It's time to show your true face, and you'll be impressed at how people can admire it. So, have a lot of fun, do the work, and I'll see you in our next video. Thank you.